and Sulu Production.
While women and girls remain some of the most marginalized groups in many African societies, there are those who make a difference not only for themselves and their families, but for their communities as well. This realization was the idea behind the United States Development Foundation and the RWN Rwanda Women Empowerment Initiative.
We put together this project where we would find these really outstanding women who know what they're doing, but they need help. And these are women who are doing extraordinary things. They are helping themselves, and they're helping their community, and they're helping their nation.
This was a pilot project of the United States Africa Development Foundation, USADF. Rwanda was the first recipient under the Willie Grace Campbell Empowerment Fund. The aim is to eventually replicate the Women Empowerment Initiative in other countries in Africa where USADF also works. These include Burundi, Uganda, Kenya, and other countries. Rwanda Women's Network organized and publicized the project for proposals among the many community groups the network has been working with since its inception in 1997. This included others from around the country.
For the last now 13 years, RWN role has been engaged into community development work. What this simply meant, it meant mobilizing, organizing, and empowering women towards social transformation. Our work really focuses on building a healthy Rwandan society in the post-genocide Rwanda. And I think these kind of programs helps us to move towards that vision.
Over 200 proposals were received from community groups countrywide. These were vetted and narrowed down to 10 groups who received the USADF support in partnership with the Rwanda Women's Network.
United States African Development Foundation, in partnership with Rwanda Women Network, was, of course, to empower women. Empower women in terms of skills building, in terms of strengthening their economic muscles and power, in terms of empowering them brain-wise, to know what laws are there to protect them, to increase their capacity in terms of property ownership and utilization, to increase women's role in decision making at whatever level, household level and community level to begin with. So as time goes by, they will grow in the different structures that are there within the communities.
Among the 10 selected groups, 2 were engaged in mushroom production among people living with HIV and AIDS in Northern Province and employment creation in Kigali. 2 other groups were involved in dairy farming. The first is for elderly women in Eastern Province and the other for people living with HIV and AIDS in Northern Province. The other 6 groups were involved in different activities, including brick making for income generation in Bugesera district in Eastern Province, fish and rabbit farming for former commercial sex workers in Muhanga district in Southern Province, provision of loans for startup of small businesses for women in Eastern Province, production of a nutritious mix of maize meal, soybeans, and millet, locally known as sosoma, in Southern Province, honey production and processing for women in Ramangana district in Eastern Province, and music production for income generation, and to promote artistic talent among girls under the Music Changes Lives project, better known as the MCLO.
Yeah! MC Le Studio, Jolly Production, Angel and Sheila. Yeah, what's up, man?
We had the fear. We cannot stand and talk for ourselves. We cannot release the idea we had because we know that we are girls. We know that we are girls as the culture of Africans. We know that we are girls. We cannot stand and talk for ourselves. That's they tried to teach us. You can do this. You can do this and get this. You can do this. That's how they went on teaching us. But now we can stand. We can talk. The assistance of Rwanda Women Network, we can now produce our songs. We can earn from the other the songs we produce and help our families. We had that that goal of fighting poverty.
Fighting poverty is about changing women's lives, but it is also about empowering the individual woman in a holistic way, looking at every aspect of her needs.
I think changing women's life comes, for me, it is something that you have to achieve when you are only intervening in their lives in a more holistic way. Here we've been able to engage them by addressing their primary needs of socioeconomic, but the package to that must also look at the other issues that bring the lives of women into where they want to be. You can't do that if you're not addressing the inheritance property rights of women, if you're not talking about the issues of HIV and AIDS. So all these other programs are programs that has actually helped the women to realize that their lives are built on many other issues.
Such is the case with the women under the Rwanda Women Empowerment Initiative, including this mother of 3 who lives with HIV and lost her husband to AIDS. She not only receives psychosocial support from her group in Musanze, in Northern Province, but earns her living from growing mushrooms and has improved her health from their rich nutrition.
Nari narubatse ariko ubu ndibana. Umutware wanje yansigiye abana 3. Ubu ndi njyenyine n'abana 3. Ariko nkimara kubona uyu mushinga wo guhinga ibihumyo natwaye umugina ndagenda ndahinga bituma mfunguza kontekeraho udufaranga. Ubu mfite inkoko mu rugo, mbona amagi, nagiye ubu ko mbona mpagaze gutya mbana na virusi itera sida. Nyimaranye imyaka 6.
Like all the women in the project, she has also received training on leadership and women's rights.
We trained women on 2 themes, and one of the themes was all about women's rights and gender equality, whereby women could be aware of their rights and also the existing laws that protect them. Another thing was all about women's participation in leadership, and this was to help them be part of decision-making process at family level, community level, and even national level.
For most of the women, training on women's rights has been most empowering.
I have 4 children. I have my husband is a policeman.
Assistant inspector.
That is the position of the husband.
Mu rwego rwo urumva ko afite ubushobozi bwo gutunga
As you
urugo n'abana.
realize, he is capable at least of taking care of his family and his children.
Ariko yagize gutya kubera kuba mu kazi k'aho ngaho,
because he's always out there working,
ahagarika ibitunga abana.
he stopped everything that was taking care of our children, supporting our children.
Uretse kubarihira ishuri ibindi byose.
Apart from paying school fees, their school tuition, he never did anything else for the children.
Ubwo naracecetse igihe
I
kinini.
first kept quiet for a very long time.
Kugeza igihe n'iyi koperative nk'abadamu babonye ko mfite ikibazo bampa akazi.
Until this cooperative gave me a job actually as a result of what I was going through.
Bamaze kumpa amahugurwa aha ngaha, Sarah
After
amaze
so
kuza
much
guhaha
trading,
amahugurwa.
after Sarah had come here and trained us, Sarah is our M&E mason, actually by ADF. So after Sarah came here and trained us,
Nahise njya gutanga ikirego
I went to the court
cyo kugira ngo ajye atanga ibitunga
so
abana.
that I can get child support from my husband.
Mu cyumweru kimwe byari birangiye bamwemeje ko agomba kujya.
Within 1 week, everything was solved because they told him of his roles as a parent, and indeed he started supporting the children.
Empowering the women has also been about leadership, in addition to the women having more choice from their financial independence. This mother of 5 speaks for many of the women.
Ubwo rero umushinga nyine banteje imbere kuri byinshi ku buryo oya amafaranga mpembwa ku kwezi hari ubwo bampemba 12,000, 15 se, biterwa n'imibyizi mba nakoze. Noneho ubwo ikindi baba baranteje imbere nuko nabashije kugenda mbona amahugurwa kenshi yerekeye ku mutegarugori, kwitinyuka ukajya mu myanya ifata ibyemezo, nkajyayo kandi nkakorana na leta mu byerekeye imirimo yo gukorana na leta, mbese mu rwego rw'agacaca, mu biriya byo twita muri bose babireba, mu guca imanza, bafatanya na bagenzi banjye. Mbese ni umushinga wabashije kungezaho.
As the Rwanda Women Empowerment Initiative comes to an end, signs of its potential are apparent in the visible impact it has had in the communities.
I would say they are quite convincing signs and demonstration that really women empowerment is going to be realized or achieved. They are confirmed manifestations and signs that this is going to be there, but it needs time to fully grow or to fully be manifested to whoever it is, the beneficiaries, the stakeholders, anybody. So 1.5 years is too short a time, but as we come to an end, we have seen good signs. For example, activities have provided employment. Funded activities have broken the traditional barriers of the kind of activities that women engage into. When you look at the Mjesera group that is now involved into brick making, the traditional job or a task that is meant for men, and when you go to see the kind of market that they have for what they are producing, I would say only the sky shall be the limit.
The brick-making women of the Fasha Virtue Cooperative demonstrate more than breaking traditional barriers. The group, which was initially composed of people living with HIV, had to be all-inclusive by inviting their needy neighbors into the cooperative as a strategy to fight stigma on HIV and AIDS.
ntacyo tuzageraho turi bake, reka dushake abandi badamu n'ubundi abadamu b'abanyarwanda bose baba bafite ibibazo, duhurire hamwe twiga icyo twakora, baremera.
So we decided that there were a number of women who were living with problems. Much as maybe they might not have been HIV positive, they had various issues. So they decided with that common problem, they decided they were going to come together.
Duhita twiga umushinga wo kubumba bloke tuva mu buhinzi cooperative.
Because they were making losses in their farming activities, they decided, let us try to make small bricks.
Bamaze kudutera inkunga vuba cyane, turabashimira, twabyakiriye vuba kuko hano bariho batangira kuvugura no mazu yashemwe n'intambara.
Before we gave them funds, there came a project that they were going to construct houses, because this is a place that had been that faced a lot of houses were destroyed during the genocide. So that was the time when the government was coming in and saying, okay, we need houses for at least widows and a few groups that had lost their houses. So they jumped on that, and then that is the time we were also giving them the funds. Yeah.
Turabumba, tubona isoko, turagurisha, turunguka, twabaye abakiri.
We got markets, we started selling, and now we are rich women.
Rwanda Women yaduhaye miliyoni 13 n'igice.
Rwanda Women's Network gave us 13.5 million.
Zo kugura amamashini, amasima, ibiki,
cement, raw materials.
Twaracuruje ubu dufite inyungu ya miliyoni 10.
Right now as we are sitting here, we are having a profit of they have 10 million profit. They have made a 10 million profit.
This example of success repeats itself in other community projects. This cooperative in Southern Province has not only empowered its members, but has invested its profits in a bigger milling machine that can handle 5 tons per day. The milling machine they started with could only handle 1 ton. Likewise, this community group in Northern Province invested its profits by constructing and equipping this tailoring school for girls. This first lot of 60 girls pay a monthly fee of 3,000 Rwandan francs, just over $5 before they complete the 9-month tailoring course.
Production.
In the end, it all comes down to the sustainability of the projects in the long term.
Definitely, sustainability is the key thing for us, for our donors, and also for the communities. I think this can only be achieved if really all of us stakeholders can begin to strategically look at technical support that is more long-term, sustainable, with a partnership that is of long-term nature, because capacity building takes a lot of time. And so we need to be able to give the sustainability phase to be our priority through technical assistance that we bring to the community.
MCLO Production.
Turezo muri iyi si kiratwica birenze, dore uko gitumaze ndetse kiratuzonze, nimuze tukirwanye nimuze tujya amagana, dore uko gitumaze ndetse kiratuzonze, aba mu gihugu cyacu ndetse no hanze, dore uko gitumaze ndetse kiratuzonze, kiratuzonze, kiratuzonze. Turezo muri iyi si kiratwica birenze, dore uko gitumaze ndetse kiratuzonze, nimuze tukirwanye nimuze tujya amagana, dore uko gitumaze ndetse kiratuzonze, aba mu gihugu cyacu ndetse no hanze, dore uko gitumaze ndetse kiratuzonze, kiratuzonze, kiratuzonze.
Icyorezo muri isi bagifata nk'impanuka kirahitana benshi uko iminsi